Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with My Son. This is Tarun, and I'm joined by my regular co host and my conversation partner,
Kian! Hi, I hope you enjoy this podcast.
Thanks, Kian. I'm sure they're enjoying it because we've got a lot of listeners already, and I think your last episode with your head teacher, Mr. Cooper, was a roaring success. It went down well. You enjoyed that one, right?
Great.
So we've had a few guests, Kian, on this show, and I think one of the guests we had was your little sister. We had her early on in the show where she talked about her favorite things, her toys, and stuff like that. So I think we're going to use this episode to discuss your role, or a very important role that you have in our house, that of a big brother. Right?
Oh, yes. It can sometimes be hard to be a big brother, but it can also be fun in different ways.
Correct. It is. And let's start from the beginning. So you're a big brother. How old are you, Kian? Remind our audience.
I'm 7.
And you have a little sister, right?
Yes, I have Trisha. She's really nice, but she can get a bit cranky sometimes.
How old is Trisha?
She's about 4.
So when Trisha was born, Kian, you were about 3 years old, right? Do you remember the time when Trisha was born? Or when we told you that Trisha was coming? Do you remember any of that?
I don't think you did. I don't think you told me, but I know when she was born. It was the 26th of June.
Correct. But when she was born, actually, we did tell you when she was coming. When we found out Mama was pregnant, we told you because we took you to the scan. You were excited. You wanted to see your little baby sister. And you wanted to see who's this new addition and what it's about. Before we go there, let me ask you one question. Trisha is a girl. Does it matter to you as a big brother? Would you rather have had a boy or a girl sibling?
I didn't want a boy.
You didn't want a boy. That's an interesting memory, Kian, because now let me recollect and let me take you...
I know. I remember I did want a boy, but now thinking about it, I think I don't want a boy anymore.
But that's interesting. Okay, so we'll come back to why you don't want a boy anymore. But when Mama and I told you, or when we took you to the scan, you couldn't believe that it was a girl in the scan because the doctor scanned Mama and she showed us the pictures and she said, oh, it's a little girl. And you know what Kian did?
What?
No, it cannot be a girl. Those are twins. You even wanted to say there are twins in there. You were like, there's one boy and one girl because you were so determined to have a boy. You were like, no, it cannot be a girl. I want a boy. I want a brother. So at the time, you really, 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 really wanted a brother. So now tell me, why do you not want a brother? Do you now what has changed your view?
More fun.
Huh?
I think it would be more fun.
What?
The boy would do more snatching.
Snatching. So you think Trisha is nicer as a little sister? You enjoy having her around?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about you being a big brother. What do you feel like you have to do for Trisha to be a big brother, to be a good big brother around her?
Mostly give her the things she wants. Like, not if it's something that's not so good for her age, but I should share and also help her with different things.
Like what kind of things do you help her with?
Reading stuff, reading to her, helping her with numbers sometimes.
Numbers is her homework, right?
Yeah, one time I got to type for her.
Ah, okay. So you do all the stuff that big brothers do. And you two go to the same school, right?
Yes.
And tell me something. So in school, do you feel like, sometimes you have to stand up for Trisha or you have to protect her from some of, maybe there's naughty kids or something like that. Do you think you need to, take care of her in that regard?
It's like I'm not really close to Trisha a lot in school. I only see her when she's coming back from lunch or when they're doing PE sometimes.
Okay, so you don't really interact with Trisha in school as much because you're separate classes and split away.
Yes, because she's like foundation stage and I'm key stage 2.
So in school you don't, but outside when you guys are playing, with friends and other things, do you feel like you have to sometimes watch out for her and protect her and make sure she's okay?
I can't even see her there.
When you're playing with friends or when you're out and going to parties and things like that?
Oh, yeah. Mostly all my friends, like I've seen all my friends, like and they're all very nice to Trisha, and I've seen all my friends and I have and all because like all my friends are my friends. And yeah, so it's like that. All of them are nice to Trisha.
So you don't really feel like you have to step in or protect her in any way. But Trisha's pretty strong anyway, right?
Yeah.
And you think as a little sister she can still take care of herself?
Sometimes not, though. Sometimes when there's bigger kids, it's harder for her.
Kian, you said something at the start that was interesting. You said Trisha can be cranky sometimes. Why does she get cranky, and what do you feel like when she gets cranky?
So sometimes when there's a toy here, she's here. I want that toy, and I'm here, and I get the toy before her. So she gets really mad, and then I will have to give the toy to her eventually. But sometimes we take turns.
But so you're pretty good about sharing your toys, right, with Trisha? You two play together a lot at home anyway, correct?
Yes.
And tell me a bit about your toys. Do you play similar things? Do you have similar interests, or do you play with different toys and different interests?
So we normally play with different toys. Trisha plays with dolls and stuff. I play with stuffies and a few guns, cars, action figures.
But you also play a lot of sports, right?
Yeah, a lot. But Trisha likes doing that a lot too.
Trisha plays sports with you a lot. Okay. So you do have similar interests, and you do play together a fair bit.
Yeah, and anyway, we mostly join our interests. Like I don't usually like just staying in one place, only using one type of character. Because right now we're watching the same thing, and so we don't like staying in what do I say? Show TV show of characters. Yeah. So I normally put more. I tip some more characters into the show to should I say edit the show?
Edit the show.
Yeah.
And do you guys have major disagreements? Do you disagree with each other on a lot of things? Do you feel like you and Trisha are very different? So if Mama and I give you a choice, you sometimes want one thing and Trisha wants another thing. Does it happen a lot?
Oh yeah, we're completely opposite. But that helps sometimes, actually.
How come? Tell us more.
So if Trisha likes going this and I like going this, it might going here and here. So if I like you more, and if Trisha likes Mama more, that's good because it's different and not just one person has to do all the work.
Okay. So you like this splitting like that. But sometimes I've noticed when we give you guys a choice, like if we want to go get an ice cream, we'll say, okay, we're going to get an ice cream. And more often than not, you'll obviously get your different ice creams, but we've noticed that when we tell you which flavors you want, you will say, I want vanilla, and Trisha will say chocolate. You two will never have the same choices, correct?
Yeah.
But how if Mama and I don't give you too many choices, how do you guys come to an agreement, or do you ever come to an agreement?
We do come to an agreement eventually, because
How do you come to an agreement? Do you beat each other up?
No. No, do you really think we do that?
No, it's a joke, Ian. But I tell our audience how you reach your agreement.
So I'm the older one. I'm more responsible for things, so I always have to give in for Trisha.
Do you always have to? Do you feel like you always have to give in?
No, because sometimes when she's in a good mood, only sometimes she lets me get my choice.
But that's a very interesting point. And I'm an older sibling too, and we'll come to my experiences. You can ask me a few questions. But do you feel like at some point, as the older sibling, you just have to let it go and give in to it and allow Trisha to do certain things? Does it sometimes feel like that pressure is on you?
No.
Not at all. But you sometimes give in, right? Or not really?
Mostly I do, but sometimes Trisha...
Why do you give in, though?
For no reason, and also because I care.
Because you care, because you're a loving little boy, right? And Papa calls you Saint Kian.
Yeah.
Because you're a nice boy. Okay, Kian, so that's been good. Now tell us, so I know you said now you don't want any brother, or you're okay not having a brother, but what changed your view in the middle period?
I don't know.
Something must have happened. Have you seen your friends with brothers, or is it something about playing with boys at school, or something that changed that made you feel differently? Because when we told you about Trisha, you were so adamant that, you wanted a boy.
I seen Red One with Yusuf, so it's just like, there's mostly more arguments between them two, but with me and Trisha, it's pretty good, actually.
It's pretty good. Okay, good. Okay, Kian, how about questions for me?
So, how did you feel like being a big brother?
It was very nice. It's a great feeling. So, like you, I'm a big brother too, and I have a younger sister as well. And I actually don't remember. I think if you ask my mom, she'll say that when my sister was born, her name is Sapna. Sapna in Hindi means dream. And so when she was born, I gave her the name Sapna, and I called her Apna Sapna, which means my dream. So I gave her the name Apna Sapna, which means this is my dream. So I was already very fond of her, and I took care of her. Of course, as siblings, we had our little fights growing up, and we would, quarrel over toys, and we're very different personalities, kind of like you and Trisha. So we had our own little experiences, but we've grown fond of each other, and we always took care of each other, and we still do. We still look out for each other, so it's been good. We also grew up in a joint family where we had, two of our other cousins growing up with us. So the four of us were very close together as kids. And then in India, we had a bigger extended family. So a lot of our cousins were there, and they would come home, and, we would play together. And we were some similar ages, so there was a tight bond and closeness. But obviously, my closest relationship is with my sister. And, I feel like many times I had to take care of her and be there for her for several things.
Same thing with me, but how what were you like when you had like the biggest of your small arguments?
When we had biggest of our small arguments,
yes.
We used to fight with each other. We were fairly naughty, and I think many times we used to get into physical fights as kids. And my mom had to separate us out and, shout at us and punish us for being naughty. But then, again, as we were close, we would quickly forget and, start playing again together. But we were typical kids. Kind of like you and Trisha, we didn't always agree on everything. And sometimes our fights would get pretty nasty and intense. But it was all kiddie play, and it all got forgotten, and we went back to normal pretty soon. Kian, let me ask you one other question. So, when we brought Trisha home, what did you feel like? Do you remember?
Every emotion you can think of.
Every emotion I can think of. Like, were you happy?
Every emotion in the world.
Every emotion. So happy, sad, angry, jealous.
Not angry though.
Not angry.
Not angry, not jealous.
You were not worried that suddenly Trisha would be, coming into your space and that you would have to share your space with her and that you would have to share Mama and Papa with her.
No.
None of that?
No.
You were okay?
Because I'd always have my space.
Yes, and I think I remember you giving her a big hug and holding her tightly and wanting to cuddle her when she was little, right?
Yeah.
So you enjoyed that. Okay, Kian, I think we've sort of maxed out our time. This has been a fun episode, and I have to say, you play the role of Big Brother very nicely. You're a very caring and loving Big Brother. Let's use the moment, as we do at the end of each episode, to tell our guests or give them your one piece of advice you do at the end of each episode. So, well, as a Big Brother, what would you want to tell our audience?
So, if there's something that if little sisters or little brothers are a bit like they don't feel themselves, try and help them.
Try and help them. So be there for them and guide them and support them, right?
Yes.
That's good advice, Kian, because I've seen you do it with Trisha as well. So for those that are listening, good advice from Kian is that as a big brother or big sibling, make sure you're there for your little one and, guide and support them along the way. But thank you again, Kian, for joining us. And glad to have you on another episode. And, it's been going well. I think our episodes are being listened far and wide. So we're excited about continuing conversations with my son, right? I think...
Oh yes. And just a reminder, our podcast there's going to be 2 podcasts launched this week on Friday. So don't forget to listen and have a good time.
See you. Bye-bye.